Hello, I hope you're doing great. Today we are going to talk about GitHub Copilot. What is GitHub Copilot? We'll see it in a second. Now, before we continue, please remember to visit fairplaytube.bticostarica.com, click the Buy Me a Coffee icon and select a donation of your preference. This will help us keep the videos and projects free for you. Let's continue. So what is GitHub Copilot? GitHub Copilot is basically a solution provided at GitHub by GitHub that allows you to create code or facilitates you to create some code. It gives you some recommendations based on the code that you are writing. It uses some machine learning techniques. Basically, has already inspected millions of public repositories and it gives you recommendations based on what the algorithms have already learned. Now, it is not a replacement for software developers because it is not 100% accurate. Actually, uh, based on some articles in there, it is extremely inaccurate, right? But it does the job. It actually works pretty good for people to learn software development if they do not know anything at all. So let's see. Here I have a small HTML file, and what I want to do is I want to create a simple bootstrap single page calculator using JavaScript. Notice that I actually misspelled the calculator word. So it tells HTML. Now you will see that I'm sorry. You will see that in here we have this icon, deactivate copilot, and keep looking at it. When when I add something and it's looking, it will change the icon in there. So see, it's loading something, it recommends me head, I'll add head, right? So let's see, give me a second. Okay, so what does it want me to do? It wants me to add the simple calculator title, right? Okay, we add that, we add this. Here's importing bootstrap stuff, importing Ajax, importing style. Wants me to create a container class. It has no more recommendations in there. So we go out of here. Request me to close the head. Opens the body of the HTML. Creates a container. Creates a title. Closes the form or opens the form, sorry. Adds the first number. Well, the label and now the control. There's a request me to close the div. Adds a form group. Input text. So there is nothing in there. Okay, that's the operators. This is a select. Look at this, it is actually adding the bootstrap styles to the controls. There is nothing more in that div. Here is the button. There are no more recommendations in here. There is one in here. Adds the result. There is no recommendation in there. Request me to close the div. Now it wants to add a script and see that it wants me to add that function. It's thinking. It may recommend me something else. Let's see. No, I'll add tab and see that it is now um, recommending me some code in there. Now me a second because I am connecting my computer. Okay, so it wants me to add this form. So it's basically going to add a listener for the submit event in the form, and it will retrieve the values, parsing them as floats. It retrieves the operator from the operator, then it does the evaluation of which operation it is, and then it prints the result in the result uh, item. Let's see if there are any more recommendations in here. No, and no. Now, if I format this document, and if I go to the HTML page in here, simple calculator, I refresh, I'm going to refresh this. This is actually the file. So 55, 100, operator node, please select an operator, add 155, subtract, minus 45, multiply 15500, divide 0.55. If I divide by 0, it gives me infinity. So it worked pretty good. Now this was for the simple calculator. Now let's see how this YouTube video player works out. This is actually this one. I have already tested this to figure out how it will work. So basically what I put in here is single bootstrap HTML5 YouTube player using JavaScript. So let's create it from scratch. Head, okay, YouTube video player. It imports the scripts. Okay, look that it actually imports some YouTube API that I didn't even know it existed. It starts adding some more events in there. Let's see if there are more. No, there are no more events in there. Closes the head. Requires me to add the body. And the body is going to add a container and AD. Let's see if there are any more recommendations. No more recommendations in there. No recommendations in here. Let's see if there are any more recommendations in here. It doesn't seem there are any more recommendations. Now, the interesting thing in here is that nothing in this script, as far as I have seen, it's invoking this on YouTube iframe API already. So probably this script that we imported, it's going to look for something for the player. Now let's go to the File Explorer. Let's open this. It says an error occurred. Let's see why. Oh, I know why. That's because I didn't specify the correct ID. Hello. So you see that in here, this one has video ID and it's expecting some video ID in there. So I'll add that and I'll refresh this page and voila, that is the small video player totally created by GitHub Autopilot. Now there are probably more cool stuff that you can do. I've seen people doing things in Angular and React and things like that. But as you can see, it's actually really helpful. As I was saying, this is not a replacement for software developer. First of all, it's for basic stuff, not really huge projects, but there are cool stuff and techniques that you may be able to learn from here, right? For example, as I mentioned before, I didn't even know that YouTube had an iframe API in there. So the script I actually learned this from the auto-generated code using Copilot. So it actually worked for that. It's also a good solution for new software developer to learn a little bit how they can create like HTML, how they can create JavaScript classes, files, Angular, things like that, right? Like the basic stuff for basic applications. Now, things that you may need to be aware of is that, um, for example, if you go to Wikipedia, which first of all is may not be the most reliable source of information, but sometimes it actually has good information. There are a couple of things that you need to know in here. For example, it says that there may be a licensing controversy, right? Because according um, that some code can be classified as transformative work, right? So basically, it is not 100% clear if that code, if you leave it as is, it's actually 100% legal, right? So there are a couple of things that you need to be aware of. It says also around here that this leaves Copilot on untested legal ground. Now it says untested legal ground, so pretty much uh, there is no solution on that, right? Or there is no real claim. Like it is not decided if it is legal or not, right? Pretty much in the limbo, I guess it's the term in English. It says other thing like although GitHub states that training machine learning models on publicly available data is considered fair use across the machine learning community. Now, there is something in there. It says it's fair use across the machine learning community. So it seems that most people do not really care, like, and they are willing to share it. However, uh, when you go to the legal part, you need to be very careful because it may not matter what the community says. It may matter. The thing that may matter is what is written in the laws, right? So you need to be careful with that. The other thing that you need to be aware of is that according to this, on August 2021, and a study found that 40% of the code produced by Copilot contained bugs or errors. So, as I was saying, it is not perfect code. It is a tool that will help you or it will facilitate a lot of the code you write, but of course, you need to check it and test it and probably just take it as a base instead of uh, leave it as it is, right? But as you saw, it is actually something really useful. We learned a couple of things, right? So it is really, really good. Well, I hope this has been useful. Thank you very much. And please remember to use the Buy Me a Coffee icon to donate some money of your preference to help us keep the videos and projects free for you. Have a great